Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Holding Court with the Empress of WeHo. My name's Enoch Miller, your Empress of West Hollywood. And we're so excited to have you with us tonight. I am joined by the always lovely Mr. Devin. Hi, my dear.
Hello, hello, hello.
So good to see you. You are looking stunning tonight. I'm loving the full eleganza. She got her hair all did just for me.
You know it.
It looks good. It really looks good. I don't think I've ever seen you. You were telling me like you've had it as like shoulder length before, and I've never seen you with this much hair. And I love it's nice. I just want to. I know you don't. You're not supposed to touch it.
I know. I was about to say you can't touch. No, you can't touch queen hair now. But
I just want to touch it. But I know it's like that's. I don't let people touch my hair because that's you lose a finger.
Look.
But, we're really excited to announce some fun stuff. We're gonna get to the good bits a little bit later, but Devin has some really amazing new music. He's coming out here. He just released an amazing single just like December for 2020, where No Regrets. If you haven't seen that, it's really cute. It's a really fun, upbeat song about some things that are not quite so fun going on in the world, but choosing to choose your own path and make it work for you regardless, and living life with no regrets. And I really actually liked the lyrical video you did with that, and just it's really with all the people you got involved. But again, we'll get to all that here in a little bit. We got to get to know more about Devin, and if anyone had paid attention, about 4 years ago, I actually interviewed Devin with a few other guys in a first openly gay boy band here in the U.S. called Echo V. I interviewed him back in 2017. I cannot believe it's been that long.
I know, right?
It seems like
2020 was like 5 years in itself. So like,
it's been a minute. But for anyone who doesn't know, Devin's originally from Tampa, Florida. That area. Is it specifically in Tampa or like one of the suburbs around it?
No, I lived in Tampa my whole life. Yeah, I grew up here.
And so, for a lot of people, Florida is an interesting place.
It is.
What's your perspective growing up in a place like because Tampa is not a small city. It's actually a fairly big area. It's a very suburban area. Kind of give us a little bit more of what your perspective was growing up in a place like Tampa.
Well, Tampa is very. It's a great place to grow up. Honestly, it's very diverse. It's very cultural. There's a great entertainment scene. We have great sports. I know you hear a lot about Florida, but honestly, Tampa is really that Central Florida paradise, that Central Florida paradox that is just not really, flying in tandem with the rest of what Florida is. I mean, you have your big cities like Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and such. And then there's the rest of Florida. So that's kind of what you hear about the rest. But there's Tampa's actually a really good city. I compare it to a very, very small, slim version of LA because it's definitely not as big, but it is very as cultural and diverse. And point blank period, we're about to go to the Super Bowl. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
I forgot. I know sports is like out of this totally, but like I just had to bring it up at least one time because we are going to
go sports team unit. Basket, goal, point, touchdown.
Look, hey, I don't understand. All the gays need to love sports, okay? Like especially football.
It's just not the kind I'm allowed to say on TV.
Well, that. See, I need one of those. Mine doesn't.
Yeah, no, you're trying to clack yours. You're gonna put an eye out.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a hole in something.
We usually have stuff like about to put our eyes out, but
so Tampa, it's nice.
So when you kind of compare it, like you said, you can kind of like as a small version of Los Angeles. Is there any like particular area it really reminds you of here in the LA area?
Well, we have a little bit of it all. We have like a wilderness portion. We have the Tampa Bay and like a few like springs and stuff like that in local areas. And that is kind of like representative of the mountains and stuff that we have in LA and Hollywood. Then as far as the entertainment scene, we have a great entertainment scene out here. A lot of musical theater because we are on the East Coast. So that's kind of a different vibe out here. Other than like the film industry and everything. But we really have it all. Good food, good beaches. We have good entertainment, good music, sports for those who care about that. So it's really like a very open and versatile place. And it's diverse. Like that's another thing. Like I never grew up not being exposed to any culture. Like I saw everything and I loved it.
That's really amazing when you have places like that that have that kind of almost like melting pot feel, which is very, I mean, quintessentially what America was founded upon, of having all different types of individuals from all different backgrounds kind of commingled together, creating different individual spaces, but still bleeding into one another to create the area that we like Los Angeles and obviously like Tampa. So it's really cool that you kind of grew up in a place that was very progressive and then also very just inclusive in so many different aspects.
Yeah.
When you think about home and think about things from Tampa, what's kind of the maybe like the one thing you really miss about it, or that's the one thing you're like, oh my god, that's a total remind me of home kind of moment.
Let's see.
Besides the Gators.
Besides the Gators, I was about to say because that is one thing, or the mosquitoes. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But let's see. Like one of a more positive thing that makes me always think of home is just kind of we have a beautiful bay and a beautiful like coastline to Tampa Bay, and just being either on the water or around the water at sunset. Like I know it's very LA to be on the beach, but to actually be on the water, in the water, and like the ocean or the bay of Tampa, I think I really enjoy that. So anytime I'm kind of like on a boat somewhere, it kind of like reminds me of being home and being on a boat and stuff. So like that's kind of what brings me home, like coming really like cool sunsets. And also, let me tell you something that I really miss about Florida that everybody's like, you miss this? I'm like, Florida is flat, like flat, 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 flat. Like it is straight, just flat. And I like that in a way. I love mountains and I love seeing that, but I also love just like flat road. I don't know why. And it makes driving easier, which is 10 times crazier here in Florida.
Well, that is very, very we do live in a place where driving is hell, literally.
Oh my gosh.
I always make fun of like the different areas of Los Angeles, calling them like each of the different 9 circles of hell, because quite frankly, most of them are very similar to that. You just sit and just you do this for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Eternity. But it's really, I mean, I used to live in Florida for a hot minute. I lived in Pensacola for a couple of years.
What?
Like way back in the day, girl, like back in 2009.
Oh my god, you were here when I was here.
Yeah, but like I didn't go further enough south to like, the furthest I ever went was Cocoa Beach, just because I had family out that way. But yeah, otherwise it was like it was basically the northern part of the peninsula. It was never anything like crazy. We did go to Mobile for Lambert's Cafe, and that's about it. Like that's
okay.
Yeah. But so obviously, I mean, going to school there, you went to high school at Howard W. Blake High. And then you go to college at Florida A&M University, where you study sociology and theater.
Yes.
Interesting mix. What made you want to choose sociology?
Honestly, okay, you want the real lowdown about college?
Oh,
I went there because
I know why you chose theater, girl. Because the play was sexual, but
no, well, theater has been a part of my life since like literally 3rd grade. I've been doing theater since 3rd grade. I went to performing arts schools, all elementary, middle, and high school, and majored in theater all the way through. Musical theater to be specific. And then when I went to college, I was also doing marching band. And so I specifically went to FAMU for the Marching 100. And I was there. I loved it. I loved that experience. But when it was time to graduate, they were like, okay, you've been in school. Like, what are you going to graduate with? I was like, I just came here for the band. Like, love y'all. But like, and my dad literally told me when I graduated high school, he was like, you can go wherever you want to go. But my money's in the FAMU. So, and I was like, gotcha. So I just kind of picked sociology because sociology is the study of groups of people, and as much people as I hang out with and court with and meet with and love and everything, like I figure I should probably study them so I can understand better how to hang out with my friends and stuff. So I picked that, and then theater had been a part of my life, so that's why I picked.
That's really cool, and I do think it's a very applicable thing, especially living in a place like Los Angeles. And again, I can't attest to the diversity there, but like listening to how you're talking about it here in Tampa, like it makes sense that you'd want to know kind of the different dynamics of people, because people are fascinating. Even if they're crazy, they're fascinating as to why they do what they do. So I can see why that would attract you. You love people. you're just that kind of person that sits there and is like a fly on the wall and just watches all the tea and all the shit going on. And you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna take this all in. Y'all, no, you don't need to involve me. I'm good. I'll just watch. I'll just.
I'm a great fly on the wall. I'm like the fly on Mike Pence's head. I can just stay there and be like, bitch, I am here.
That was you?
Yeah.
Bitch. Okay.
You found me, period.
That's like, oh, no wonder I thought she was famous. Okay. But you've done a lot of, like, I really want to talk some, like, of the, not quite like acrobats, but you are, a lot of people don't, I mean, if you know anything about Devin, you know he is a stilt walker. And very fascinating. The first time I ever saw you was at Universal Studios here in Hollywood for the Mummy ride. You were one of the walkers. I think it was an Anubis walker or something like that.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
But, I mean, this man is striking already, but you put her at like another 4 or 5 feet above your head, and it's just like, hi. So good to see you. And he's like, no shirt on, collar, makeup, hat, and I'm just like,
I mean, it was the best of both worlds. We got to be like outside walking around with some sun and being shirtless and put on makeup. So like, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, she's in heaven. She's in gay heaven. It's like prime.
I was pretty damn happy.
I get paid to do this. And what really got you interested in wanting to do stilt walking? Because it's not a very common thing to fall into. What kind of introduced you to that?
So it was actually musical theater. I love telling this story because it's such a random story. But thank you to my director, David Hines, at the time. I think that was him. Was it David Hines? It might have been the other guy, but he was a part of it either way. But I was in the musical Guys and Dolls.
Oh, okay.
And I was actually just a dancer, a Havana dancer, and I had like a few speaking parts, but I was just like, back there. And there was a role called Big Julie, who's usually played by a little person or like someone really, really short. Okay. But my director wanted to take the term literal into Big Julie, like big, with stilts and everything. So I was the understudy for that character. I never had to do it, but I had to learn how to walk on stilts and learn the lines. And I ended up falling in love with it, and I never wanted to put him down. And he was like, you should go audition for the local theme park in Tampa, Busch Gardens. And I was like, nah. He was like, yeah. I was like, nah. And then that was 13 years ago.
I mean, I wasn't going to do it, but like, yeah, that was like, let's see. I have it here in my notes. Let's see. She went and started.
Dang, I shouldn't have dated it.
Yeah, you were there about what, like, for something like that, like 2008 roughly. But yeah, and then to 2015 before you left here for Los Angeles. So you're there like 7-ish years doing that.
7.5 years, still walking, and then I graduated to other things at the park, like singing and dancing and everything. And that was really a great learning experience, a great stepping stone. I really got my like entertainment, because I've been like, not to brag or boast or anything, but I've literally only done entertainment my whole life. Right. Like as a kid, I was in a band called Sunny La Rosa and America's Youngest Jazz Band. We toured as a 10, 12-year-old. I was touring and going to like Syracuse Jazz Festival, New Orleans Jazz Festival. And then I started doing theater and immediately started performing and everything like that. So I literally only kind of knew and know still entertainment now, which is a blessing. So.
But that's really amazing to have. Well, and first of all, I mean, if anyone's ever been, because it's like, it's not a small little area. I mean, Busch Gardens, Tampa is huge, and it is like major. It's a huge part of the attraction there for Florida. There's like, you have Disney and then you have Busch Gardens. It's like, it is massive out there. What was that experience like, being able to, again, like, first off, going in for your audition and doing all that stuff? Were you seeing a ton of other people come up from it that were other stilt walker, acrobats, performers, like that type of people, or was it a very small community?
Okay, so specifically here in Central Florida, I'll say Central Florida altogether. The community within the theme park, like, industry is huge. I would go to say, and I'm pretty sure I'm 100% factual saying this, that Central Florida is the theme park capital of the world. There's more theme parks here collectively than anywhere else. So pretty much everybody's a stilt walker out here. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but like there's so many stilt walkers. It's actually kind of oversaturated out here. But it's a fun thing that, you know, and we used to have, I remember we had workshops for it and everything. And people were like, "Oh, this is great. Never doing this again." Because I think a lot of people really do have that fear of heights and everything. So stilt walking there's a large community of stilt walkers out here. Definitely a huge community of dancers and singers because we're on the East Coast with musical theater. So a lot of like technically trained dancers rather than hip hop and everything, which I think is the huge difference between the dance styles of like East Coast and West Coast.
Very true. And a lot of people don't realize too, the difficulty with stilt walking is you're not stationary the entire time. You don't just like stand on it and stand. So you're constantly moving to maintain your balance and maintain your like equilibrium with everything. And I've done it once, and I was one of those people.
You have?
No way in hell ever again. It's fun for like 5 minutes. I am 6'2", and when I get on that shit, I am like 12, whatever. It's a little like not necessarily vertigo, but it gives you this whole like, this is a whole nother altitude that you were a part of, and it is a lot. And I mean, again, if you ever have seen Devin do it, it is an amazing sight to see, because it's just this man, just tall ass man coming who's like, and again, he's not like intimidating. He's just like, it's just a lot to take in. When girl, he's a lot to, and it's just a lot to take in, ladies and gentlemen, and it is really, but it's fun because you just, the look on your face, you always have so much joy when you do it, because it's just like you're in your like beyond happy place when you do that.
Yes, I really do. I honestly love it so much. I love stilt walking. It's I mean, I always tell people this jokingly, but for real, I get to get high and nobody can say anything. But but like
high without being high.
Yeah, without being high, and sometimes
she's high.
No, I really do love performing on stilts. I get to embrace something that like people think is like totally cool, which has just become a part of my lifestyle, and I get to embrace all these different characters and like zone out into whether I'm doing like Halloween stuff, winter stuff, or just literally creating a character or doing a TikTok dance on stilts. It's just, it amplifies me and what I can bring so much more. I love, like, I want to be a still walking singer. Like, that is not out of the league of possibilities.
That would be great. And I think it's honestly, especially in the entertainment industry, it's all about making yourself set apart from the masses, because everyone, especially places like here, Los Angeles, and I mean, like places like Tampa, I mean, everyone and their mom's an entertainer. Everyone and their mom's trying to hit it big. And the hard part is making sure you stand out and, like, again, are like a striking image to these producers or entertainment directors or stuff like that. So I would love to see a stilt walking entertainer come out and perform Pride, doing her entire album EP in stilts. Like, I am here for it.
Look,
100%.
you know, it is not out of the realm of possibilities. Anything is possible. It is 2021. We done past 2020. You might see me flying. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, there's some possibilities. When they did Janet Jackson for Pride a few years ago, and her ass was being flipped around back and forth, she was practically flying.
Look, didn't Lady Gaga perform in space too? Isn't she like the first interstellar performer? Like, anything is literally possible. Let's go.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I'm totally here for it, and I'd love to see that. Cannot wait for that memo to come out. So we'll be waiting for that. But for like, and then around 2015, you've been doing a lot of the stuff with Busch Gardens, everything, that you moved and decided to move out here to Los Angeles. What kind of inspired that transition? Because that's a big deal. I mean, as cool as Tampa is, Los Angeles is a beast. And what made you want to try and conquer that one?
Well, honestly, it started with a show at Busch Gardens. I was in a show called Kinetics, which was an amazing show. And I knew that I was really growing exponentially in what I could offer as a performer.
Okay.
And, you know, there was so much, you know, there was so much I was able to do when I was working so many hours, like then and there. And so while I was working kinetics, I was looking out upon like it was in this place called Gwazi Field, and like a field of like more than 1,000 people. And I was looking out there and I was like, I want to entertain all these people. And they all come up to me after the show and they're like, oh my God, you're so great. You're the dancer with the smile and like everything like that. And none of them knew who I was. Like none of them knew my name. They were just like, you're the dancer with the smile. That's great. So I was like, look, I really love this and I could perform every day for the rest of my life like this, but I think it's time for me to really step out and venture out and make a name for myself. And you kind of hit like a glass ceiling here in Tampa. I mean, it was different way back in 2014 when I began, or when I was in, you know, Florida and everything.
Right.
But now you can, you know, build your empire from anywhere. But back then, I really wanted to be in the scene. I wanted to know what the best, you know, I wanted to be with the best people. I wanted to get my name out there. So I moved out. I picked up everything. I quit my job. I loved that job. Like I was performing every day, doing what I loved every day. And I packed up and I was like, I am going to LA and I'm going to pursue my dreams. It was either LA or New York. And New York has the cold. And I don't do the cold. No,
you're from Florida.
No.
Oh man.
I do not. No. I've seen snow twice, and one time there was like snow on one side of the street and like running water on the other. So that shows you it wasn't that cold.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was in the Midwest and I hated it. Thank God I'm in like southern climate temperature areas because she is not bred to live in the frigid atmosphere. No, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Where did you first initially move out here to when you moved to Los Angeles?
I moved to Van Nuys.
Van Nuys, okay.
Yeah.
He was a Valley boy. Yeah.
Yes, the first when I first moved here.
And what really was when you first moved out to Los Angeles? I mean, obviously everyone has their ideals of what like the big city is like. When you got here, was it a little bit of a culture shock for you, or was it again still fairly similar to home?
So I had actually visited LA in 2014 and I saw, and that was when I was with my ex and I was going to both places and I was like seeing like which one do I want to go to. And I really fell in love with LA, the atmosphere, the people. Like the first time I visited, it was like that magical entertainment wonderland that I really wanted to be a part of. So I came in 2014 just for a visit, and then by 2015 I quit my job and everything. And I actually left my job at Busch Gardens at the end of 2015, like like September-ish. So I really was there more like 2016. But I made my roots immediately because I immediately got in with the boy band and everything. So like LA just felt natural and felt like the next step in my evolutionary entertainment evolution.
And it's really, Los Angeles is really great, especially when you can survive like that, because I mean, you either sink or swim within the first couple of years, and it really kind of just helps. I think it strengthens a lot of people and really gives you the sense of resolve that like I can survive this, I can survive anything. Very much like that. What was kind of one of the hardest things you had to kind of learn being out here by yourself in Los Angeles?
First of all,
besides traffic navigation.
Besides traffic and having to lie to your landlord because ain't nobody making as much as they freaking asking you to make 3 times what you. Okay, I'm not even going to start with that. But that was one of the first things I learned. But besides that, I learned. I guess it happened at my first like big audition, which was for the Grammys in 2016. Yeah. And I thought like they put the call out for like a black guy, 5'11", my specific hairstyle at the time, which was like very short on top and bald sides. And I was like, this is exactly what I have. They wanted a medium chocolate or a medium brown skin tone. I forgot what it specifically said, but it described me to the T, even my exact weight at the time, which I'm not going to tell you because I'm not about to take my weight now. October 1915. But so I went to this audition, and it was like a private audition, like a super private audition. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is in the bag. This is in the bag. Do you know how many people showed up looking just like me?
120.
Over 500.
Oh, okay, I was
Over
gonna say,
500.
yeah.
And they bagged us into a room and then went through line by line and were like, okay, you five stay, you go. Okay. And I made it to like the second round of people who stayed. And it was just like they were sending waves of people. It was crazy. And I was like, this how many people are in Tampa altogether. Like, I don't understand this. But that was one of my first experiences in understanding how like you have to stand out. You can't just be one of the run of the mill because like there's 500 of you. You have to become, who you really are, who you really want your fans and your public and your audience and the industry to see you as.
Exactly. It's really, we just had an interview, I think like a couple weeks back with another individual talking about the same thing of the reality of some of these kids when they have these aspirations of going to like New York or Los Angeles, and they don't realize that, yeah, you may have been hot shit back in junior high school in your hometown of 400. You get to a place of, especially Los Angeles, 10 million people in the county of Los Angeles. I mean, they drive you in by the hundreds. They have you wait on your ass outside for hours to come in for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and they're just like weeding people out instantly. It's crazy. Yes. And it's a harsh reality sometimes for a lot of people.
People really don't understand a 16-hour audition. Yeah. They really don't understand that. Like, especially now, and how some people might never understand it because of the way how we've changed the game with like self-taping and stuff like that. People don't understand it. It was 4 or 5 years ago, 6 now years ago, that we were standing in line for 16 hours for one audition. And then we still had to work that dance gig or whatever at night to wake up and go to the next audition the next one. Like, the entertainment business is something else.
No, exactly. I got that harsh reality when I did one, like I thought I was like, okay, I'll dabble and see if I can do acting and this kind of shit because, hey, I'm in LA, why not? Did that 6 hours and I was in for 5 minutes and they're like, okay, thank you. We think we're good though. Thanks. You don't need to come back. And I was just like, I sat on my ass basically all day, half the day, just to be told, no, you could have done that over the phone. Like, it's, and yeah, it's same thing too, saying all the other people that look exactly like you. It's so important to be just boom, just different, not the same.
Be unique. Like, yeah.
The uniquely you.
Exactly.
Exactly. But it sucks because it's a lot of people do not understand how harsh of a reality it can be in this industry, especially entertainment, especially as an artist. There's a lot of things that just really kind of just kick you in the ass with that. So let's get to some of the really cool stuff you've been working on during COVID, as well as coming up here into 2021, which I'm really excited. One of the ones we were talking about this earlier before we came live that I was really excited to see. Well, not excited, but it was a powerful video. It was something that was just something I hadn't seen from you before, and it excited me to see you branching out into a different aspect of medium through this. During the July incident with George Floyd, you came out with a very powerful BLM video talking about, from your perspective as a Black man, having this horror being shown not just here in the U.S. but around the world of the total racial discrimination against the Black community here in the U.S. and then obviously the world's response to our just inability to really accept people as people, and go through kind of your reaction when you first saw those initial 9 minutes and really tell us what your perspective was, and then what inspired you to really say, I need to speak to this, and from my perspective as a Black man, what this means to me and my community and why I need to stand up and fight for it.
Well, that is definitely a very loaded question, but I am here to unpack it all. So
Yeah.
I'll start by saying that I think everyone's experience, Black experience, white experience, Latino experience, every experience is so unique to them. And I
Right.
know my experience as a Black male has been, very, very different than what I know a lot of my counterparts have experienced, simply because of my exposure and diversity that I was presented to at a very young age. Like
Right.
I was oftentimes the token Black kid, and I
Oh,
didn't understand it until until about maybe 5 or 6 years ago what that really meant to be the token Black kid. Like I knew I was, but I didn't know what I didn't really know what that title was. Shut up, notification. And so because of my upbringing and everything, I
yeah.
was like kind of convinced that that racial the how racially charged things were presented on in the media and stuff. I was a kid. I thought it was all kind of like division presented by whoever was presenting it. I didn't really know what was going on as a kid. I didn't understand it,
Yeah.
but I didn't think it really affected me. And as I grew up and as I got older, as I learned, as things happened to me, as I had my first real honest like racist experience,
Right.
I understood that racism isn't over. Like
Yeah.
this is still going. And all, but when I kind of started realizing it, I then went to FAMU, which is an HBCU, and then I was thrown into I was in around only Black people, all
Oh.
Black people. And although my family's Black, like I was, you're in school more than you're with
Right.
your whole family. You're with your
Right.
immediate. But so then when now I'm surrounded by all Black people, and I loved my culture and everything, and I learned to embrace a different side of my culture and a different side of myself. So after leaving FAMU and going out and being at Busch Gardens and being still in Tampa and in Florida, it really was. It hadn't hit me how severe the racial injustice in this country and in the world really was. Um, so now to fast forward to George Floyd and last July, when all of that happened, I really honestly, I didn't know. You kind of became numb
Right.
to hearing about this stuff, because it's been happening since Trayvon Martin,
Right.
Tamir Rice. So sorry, that's
No.
from him.
Yeah.
But and like other individuals, it just became an occurrence, same as mass shootings. And
Yeah.
it's not to diminish how horrible these acts are, but just to be honest, it became
It became
we
a norm.
it became a norm. Yeah,
It really did.
unfortunately.
Fortunately, it did.
Yeah, but that norm came to a head when four things happened. Four things came to light and really got light shine on them within 48 hours.
Right.
And that was when I kind of took time to really sit back, because I've always embraced my culture, whether I knew like the full thing or not. I always embraced myself,
Right.
my people, and I didn't really think it existed. And then when I saw what was going on, I felt so empowered to use my platform, because I understand that like now, like everybody has a platform and
Right.
everybody has a responsibility to use it. And this was the time to use it. And I waited and I chose the time I wanted to speak out, because I was going to these protests. I was talking to people. I was encouraging people and discouraging people from doing, you know, lashing out in anger, and encouraging people to find ways to make positive change. I was just trying to do my part, because I was like, look, I talk a lot, and the best thing I can do is really talk to people and tell them and let them vent to me what their frustration is, because I know what my frustration is now. Now it was that this could happen to me and I'd be dead, but it's all the people who thought that like this
Right.
was not affecting me because I'm not that type of black guy that
Right.
were now going to be affected. And I was like, okay, just so this doesn't happen to me, let me be a part of change. Let me be a part of the right side of history. So I
Right.
was out there, honestly, for 5 days protesting before with like it was, and I must say that was you lived in you live in LA. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
mayhem. It was war. There
Yeah.
was National Guardsmen patrolling the streets with
Yeah.
guns and everything. My friends got arrested. Like it was absolutely crazy. But then I met up with a German TV network.
Okay.
Shout out to Jinx Productions and OCBN. And they came with me because they saw my activism. Someone saw my activism, and they told this person, someone else about me. And so I hooked up with this German TV company, and we filmed this documentary about, just kind of like what was going on in the world and everything. And they asked me. Now I had done all of this just because it was in my heart. It was on
Right.
me. Like, I had never protested before. I'm thinking like, hey, we got a black president. Like we was in the light now. Like we good. Um, but I hadn't watched the video. I was just like, this isn't right. I just want to be on the right side of history. And they
Right.
asked me if I would watch it on camera. That's why you see it in the video and you see my genuine first reaction to
Yeah.
those horrible 9 minutes of me watching a man literally murder a man in front of a group of people.
Oh no, it was a public execution. I mean, it's exactly what it was. It was
Yeah.
the war, and that's what I think. What really, what and everyone's because I think you kind of mentioned this a little bit. It's not to dismiss anything from before and in these other tragedies that have happened before with unnecessary deaths. It's just this one was the first one that was so public and
Yeah.
so just you could not put this blinders on and like hide your face from it. Everyone saw this and everyone had this in their face on their screen, television news, all that stuff. It was everywhere. And I think that's what really hit home to people outside of the black community to get us to wake up and be like, no, we understand racism is an issue. Racism is not just an issue, it is an epidemic that we are fighting because not again, it's not just everyone has the same experiences. Like my Hispanic heritage, my grandmother has different experiences with racism, but it's not nearly as severe as some of my friends have had that are black or that are Latino or Asian that have had different experiences. I remember talking with Tony Moore and him saying, like, as a black man himself, he, like, knock on wood, was lucky enough to never have had any of these issues of the police pulling him over when he was driving just because they saw a black man driving a car and like stuff like that, that he had so many of his other friends have that issue. And it's like there's different aspects of that privilege that some people just, until it's thrust in your face and we are forced to go, no, this is reality and this is an issue. And the unfortunate, but like what was really glad that I saw what people did was hate that it had to be this way, but it's like people banded together in such a beautiful way to come out and support, to come out
Absolutely.
and show love, and to show that this isn't right, and not just on a local scale, on a global scale. When you started seeing things like stuff from Paris, from London, from Germany, like things like that, what did that speak to you of how the world's response was for your community?
Well, it was a relief in one way to understand that the world was finally on the side, like that the Black Lives Matter slogan and the Black Lives Matter campaign and everything about that had made it globally and that had such an impact that people understood what it meant and they understood the importance and relevancy of it.
Right.
Um, and that was on one hand, and on the second hand of one hand relief, the second hand, it was a little bit of, I guess, confusion
Yeah.
because this has been happening for years. It's
Right.
not the first time,
Right.
but not anger at all. No anger or just confusion. Like
Right.
now you understand it, but this is not on the people that are on. Like this is an uprising of the voice of Black Lives Matter, but honestly, the people who have the power to control this, they've been aware of it. for quite some time now.
Yeah.
So it's really on them. Thank God we're allowed to have a voice now, and the voice has been amplified. But
Yeah,
when the change is made, that's when there will be like really in my heart for real. Because like I still to this day, it happened during the Christmas holidays. I was walking around, and you know me, I'm like a dancer and everything. So I might like look at something and like touch it and hold it around and put it back down. And I was getting followed around by management in a store because they thought I was stealing.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking at items, and I literally have never stolen anything in my life. Like I have no reason to.
Wow. Well, that's the thing, though. We just had an issue recently here in Los Angeles where at a Target, 4 black men were accused of stealing a phone when it was 2 other individuals that took it and ran out the store, and it's on video. But they didn't choose to look at the video. They didn't choose it. They just automatically assumed, oh, well, because you're in the vicinity and you are the ones that we think we saw. Or the lady, oh my God, the lady that attacked the jazz musician's son.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
It's just
baby.
I mean, but that's also, again, it's an individual from California, and she lives here in the area. So again, it's like progressive as we like to think we are. There is so much work that needs to be done for racial equality, and I'm very relieved to know that this new administration has taken such a serious look at it, and then just having someone obviously like Kamala Harris who can speak to that part of the community and give real example of what we can do in order to start repairing and healing and giving the individuals that need help, and again just they feel like they're being taken care of. And that's been the problem. It's they feel like they've been neglected, and the community has felt like it's just been looked over. This is a norm. This is normal. Like you'll get over it. It's something we have to deal with. It's not something we should be like okay with. And luckily, this is becoming more of a focus and becoming, like you said, it's just the impact now is amplified. It was always there, but now it has some real intensity. And like, I mean, when you equate this to something like with MLK and watching the civil rights movement, it's kind of a resurgence of that from back in the day. And it just, you see people's passion like you did back there where they marched on the Capitol and said, we will not stand for this anymore. And it's really exciting. So guys, go check it out on his YouTube. Amazing video. Again, just it's very powerful just to watch from someone who's again living this and understands this is their community. And just I really also love the company that worked with you to just show your passion and really want to just again show respect to that and say, hey, this needs to be told, this story needs to be heard, and this is we're going to work with you on that. So it's amazing that they worked with you. So cannot, like, if you go check it out, you're going to check out all his stuff, but go check this one out first to start it off and then work your way through all the next parts of the magic, which coming up next is No Regrets that came out just this last year, just a few months ago. Like less than 2, actually. I think it's just what?
Well, the actual song came out on 10/10/2020, October 10th. Yeah, and then the video dropped on my birthday on December 16th.
Oh, and the video's super cute. You got a bunch of, I mean, that list was long of people he thanks at the end. There's a huge list of individuals that did this really cute, socially distant collage of all the different, it was a lyrical video, so it was all the words spelled out in the video. First and foremost, what really inspired you to want to do the song No Regrets?
Okay, No Regrets. I love like, okay, I love telling the story too. Just like Stilts, because this is really near and dear to my heart. No Regrets, as you know, is my first debut solo single. And I actually wrote the chorus of No Regrets way back in 2016.
Oh, wow.
30 hours a week, all the way to the It's My Life and everything. I wrote that in 2016. And I heard it and I felt it and I had it in my head and I had no idea what it was. No idea. And I knew it wasn't for the band at the time, but I wanted to hang on to it. So I kept it in a little book and just kind of tucked it to the side. And after like really living that LA life, going through the hustle and bustle of like grinding, getting jobs, losing gigs, losing contracts, getting contracts, being happy, being sad, all of that, I really got the meat of the story of that song, which is no matter what happens in your life, you can't like regret it. It's happened. You're still living. You're still breathing. And if you are still living and breathing, you need to keep doing and not have a regret about what you could have done or what you wanted to do. So that's kind of where the meat of it came. And I'm like, I do pride myself on being a singer-songwriter, but I'm much more of a singer, entertainer, performer than I am a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Like, so I did write 100% of the lyrics of No Regrets. However, they just kind of came to me naturally. Like literally, one time I was walking on the side of the roadway, and I was like gonna catch an Uber, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna rough it and I'm gonna walk because I got some lyrics coming to my brain. And I actually wrote like 3/4 of the song in that moment. And it was just like me talking about my real life, real stuff that happened to me. And like, this is my story about like how I feel, what happened, and how I'm going to overcome it. And so like, maybe you can take these words and do the same with your life. So that's where the inspiration behind it came. And then I actually was fortunate enough to produce my own track and everything. So everything really is that's a genuine representation of who I am as an artist and who I am as a person too, deep down, because I recorded 3 songs over the quarantine lockdown or whatever you want to call it.
Over our hell.
Thanks to I Be Productive. Shout out to her. So I recorded 3 songs, but out of them, this one was the one that I really wanted to put out first because I was like, this is literally me speaking to everyone and showing them who I am and what I actually stand for.
Okay.
So that is the inspiration behind the song.
It's really, I mean, I love the fact that it's very carefree. It's so funny because it is like, I love that you say it's very LA because it is so LA. One of the lines that stuck with me because, girl, this is every driver in Los Angeles. Can't stay in my lane because I want to go my way. It's just, but it's very true. It's this aspect of just like grabbing your life by its balls and just saying, no, this is my life. I'm going to take it and I'm going to do it to the fullest. And it's kind of a very like nice mantra song, and I really love the inspiration you kind of give with like encouragement and say, hey, you can do it. Your boss says, hey, you're fired, thanks, come again, but don't. It's like it's a very real story for, again, an artist, and I can kind of see like the artist background to it with a little bit of your history. What was kind of the, aside from like, again, people wanting to be like, just hey, live life to the fullest, did you go into it with that specific message, or you're more kind of like saying, I just want you to know like my life, how I struggled and survived, and the fact that I'm going to live my life to no regrets? Or did you go into it not wanting to give this mantra to other people?
I think I went into it knowing that this is the mantra that I live by.
Okay.
And I think that there would be a lot more harmony and less discord in the what? Less discord.
Uh-huh. We know what you meant. We know what you meant, sweetie.
Less discord in the world if everyone just lived with no regrets, but in a positive aspect. Like you can't just go around doing whatever you want. Like the song is about doing whatever you want positively. Do it for yourself where it literally benefits yourself. And like that's really all, as long as you're benefiting yourself, you're gonna be happy and you're gonna exude happiness to other people and you're gonna pass that on. It's just gonna be like that whole butterfly effect or ripple effect where we're all happy just because we're living life and we're living up to what we want to be. So it's a little bit of both, I guess.
And when you came to because it's really cool how, like, again, getting this whole video together, because again, like you said, October is when you released the song, December is when the lyrical video came out. When you were kind of had the idea of wanting to put out a video or some type of video, with obviously the restrictions that COVID presents, did you initially want to do a video for this, or were you just like one day inspired and like, oh my God, I could totally do this, and then get all your friends and family to come together and work with you on creating it?
Well, I actually got inspiration from an artist that I really, really love. Her name is Jess Glynn. You might know her. She's the redhead. She has a song called, I think it's Gave Me Something.
Okay.
And it's the lyric video for that. And she does it in an amazing way. And I kind of I knew I wanted the words. I wanted people to see the words. I wanted to put a lyric video out there specifically for people to see the words, because it's one thing to hear them, but some people just hear a melody and ignore the words. So I wanted them to physically be able to see the words and feel the message that way. And I thought one of the best creative ways Oh, sorry, bit my tongue. Ow. One of the best creative ways to do that was to bring people together. And I actually like handpicked those lines for people because
Okay.
it was really like I wanted to pick people that were, you know, unique in themselves and could like really get the point across of I wanted diversity, I wanted love, I wanted every type of person imaginable, and there is in that video. So
Yeah.
when I thought about it, it was really like Jess Glynn gave me something meets Where's the Love by Black Eyed Peas, and I wanted to combine the fun and the I guess it's not really it wasn't meant to be futuristic, but and it's not like futuristic because there's nothing future about
Right.
it. It's right on brand with the times because
Right.
we are and we have to interact like this. So like I meant for the song to resonate, and it just so happens that the video resonated perfectly in the times that we're in.
It was really because I think it gave it a depth of character to the video itself and gave it some sort of like individual integrity of like what your message is. It's like, hey, we all need to come together, show love, live our life to the fullest, like be one for like another and all that jazz. And it was great to have, like you said, all this diversity and individuality. And it was just the funness of the individual. And because a lot of these people, you gave them the lyrics, but they took the lyrics and created that either art piece or background, or like one person was doing yoga with it on their leg, like just
Yes.
like so many different creative ways they took your words and added some fun to it in their own specific way. And it was really fun to just see each different person take that meaning that you gave them and give it life to themselves. And it was really, I think that's what made it so fun, was just seeing how each person took that line and gave it its own little spark of their own individuality, which was really cool.
I was blown away by like what they chose to do with the lyrics, and it was amazing. I loved all of them. So like, shout out to everybody in that video, especially my beautiful mother because
She
her name.
was so
Oh, she
cute.
was so cute. I loved her. Oh my god.
Standing outside our house with the little
Yeah,
like,
the palm tree.
uh-huh.
Oh my
It was
god,
so,
it's
and then
so cute.
it was just right there, like taped on there, and just her face of just elation and just
Yes.
living her best life and just like sitting there dancing. Your mom's adorable. She's so cute.
Oh, thank
And
you. And I'm so
it
happy
was
that
great
she's
that you had a
proud of
chance
her.
to bring your family into this too.
I know. I take much pride in being able to in having my mother be proud of what I do
Yeah.
because she was the one who was driving me to all these rehearsals when I was like 8 and 9, like twice a week, and to like growing me into being this performer that I am now. So like I'm glad that she enjoys my music. She already heard she heard everything. So
Well, thank you, Mom, for giving us the wonderfulness that is Devin. And I think we needed something that was like, just had some levity to it with this people being down and depressed and just crazy with COVID and being locked away. And
yeah.
just having something that was just energizing and just really kind of just made you happy again was so much fun to see. And also, which was kind of like cool, Cool 20 Hall of Fame did a little write up about her.
Yeah.
Saying
Shout
the
out Cool
most
Top
streamed
20.
song of 2020 was this single For You, which is congratulations. That's awesome. What was that like when they reached out to you to like do a little? I mean, it's nothing crazy huge, but it still was a write up nonetheless. What was your reaction when they reached out to you?
No, I was so happy when they reached out. Shout out to Leanne from the Cool Top 20 because she is the
Thanks,
individual
Leanne.
that reached out to me, and she is amazing. And she really took time to invest in listening to the song and like asking me what it was about and the meaning and everything. So I really was like, I was so happy when she reached out, and she added me to I think I was on 3 of her playlists
Oh wow.
of the Cool Top 20 playlist at one time. And due to that, my Spotify streams have been going up. So definitely, please, everybody, make sure you follow me on Spotify and follow the Cool Top 20. They have a lot of amazing artists. She really digs deep to find some really great artists. So like, definitely
Well,
check
thank
it
you
out.
again. And again, congratulations on being named at that. I cannot wait to see. Well, we have a little announcement, don't we, about what's coming up for the 2021 future.
Yeah.
Better.
Cool. So, just so you know,
Drum roll.
drum roll. What's up, everybody? It's me, Devin, and I wanted to let you know that we just wrapped on an amazing music video. I'm so excited for you guys to see it, but in order to do that, you're gonna need to make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to all of my social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Likey, you name it, I'm probably on there. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support, and thanks for coming along on this journey with me, and I can't wait for you guys to see what's next.
Oh my God, it's so good having you on. Make sure you guys go follow him. Facebook and Instagram at Devin Collins Official. And then Twitter, girl, I love your Twitter. Everyone always asks me, when they ask me what Devin's Twitter is, and I'm like, I feel so silly saying it because it's, well, I'll explain why. It's at Big Black Devin, and it will be the new title of his OnlyFans feature coming soon to a theater near you. And I'll let you
Whole
guys
theater. I'm not doing that on your computer screen.
No,
I need
I
a whole theater. We're not AMC.
Mom, he is not creating OnlyFans. I am totally kidding. I swear. My big ass mouth. But if you've ever watched him perform, you'll understand why that handle is there. But what it is, go at Devin Collins Official. That's COLLINS and official. And then at Big Black Devin on Twitter, you can go check him out. Lots of really fun stuff. I know you have more things in the works for 2021 that we cannot wait to see, but you have to check out and follow to make sure you find out coming up later. But thank you, my dear, so much for being on here with me. It's always so good seeing you.
It's a good seeing you too. I got excited. I couldn't even fucking say words.
I
But
just thought it's like,
I wish
this
I
is
could
what
hug you,
happens
but
when two
freaking
shy
COVID.
hobos get together. We just squeal. But I miss you so much. It feels like I haven't seen you in an eternity. I think the last time I saw you out was at an event. Maybe it was like either at the Queerties or something like that where we were all out and you guys were all on the red carpet doing shit. So
Oh, I remember that,
yeah, I miss it. I seriously have told so many people this. I hated red carpet events because it's just the minutia and like we're shoved in with all the like cameras and stuff. Like you guys have nice little
I miss it.
where you're standing up on the red carpet. We're behind we're behind the lights screaming at you, answer my question. But
I miss it now.
I miss seeing my boys. I miss seeing my Devin and you guys. It's again glad to see you're doing well and creating such amazing content. Go follow him. Go support your local artists and the individuals that make you happy and give you the entertainment that we all love and deserve. My name's Enoch Miller. This is Devin Collins, and we will check you guys later. Bye.
Drunk off the city lights, but with you I feel sober. Can't tell if it's day or night when you pull me closer. And I never felt